is just a disclaimer. We would like to apologize for any background noises that you hear in the making of this video.
Two are better than one because they have good reward for their labor. For if they fall, the one will lift up his fellow. But woe is he that is alone. When he falls, he has no one to help him up. Ecclesiastes 4:9-10.
Hi guys, it's me, Sienna, and today we have a special guest.
Yours truly, Tavon.
Yes, so my husband is here with us today because we are doing a story time video, and the story we'll be sharing is the story of how we met. Okay, so basically the story starts back in 2018. I was supposed to be receiving this package, and you needed to sign for the package. So being that I was not at home when the guy delivered it, he told me to meet him at the warehouse. That sounds so suspect.
What warehouse?
DHL? You know them weird delivery trucks?
This is the first time I'm hearing this story. Continue.
Okay, so he told me to meet him at the warehouse. So after I got off of work, I went and I drove. The warehouse was here. So I drove all the way here, and I was waiting for him in the car. So while I was waiting, I was on the phone with my best friend, and she was like, I'm having oxtails for dinner. And I was like, oh my gosh, this sounds so good. It had been a while since I had oxtails. So I literally Googled oxtails near me, and 2 restaurants popped up.
She will all serious.
2 restaurants popped up. One, the picture was like the oxtails was dry, and the other one, it was like they was put on this nice little plate on a table, and they took a picture. So I was like, oh, that one looks better. So it was like almost 6 o'clock in the evening. So, you know, they only make a certain amount of food for the day. So I called the place and I'm like, do you guys still have oxtails? And the guy was like, yeah. So I drove my little self over there, all happy to get my food. And the oxtails are really good. So it made me go back.
So this is the first time you went to get oxtails?
Yeah, this is the first time I went to get oxtails at the restaurant.
Oh, okay.
So it made me go back, and it became like a regimen whenever I was in town, because I lived so far, that I would just stop at the restaurant and get oxtails, right? So fast forward to 2019. This day, I had an appointment, and it was before work, so my supervisor was just like, hey, make sure you grab lunch before you come in. And I was like, okay. So I was in town, and I went and I got my oxtails.
Where did you get these oxtails?
It's a place called Island Kitchen in Pensacola, Florida, and y'all should check them out because their food is... So yes, I was on the phone with my mom before I walked into the store, so you know, I got out the car. I told her I was going to call her back. So, mind you, it was 11:24 in the morning, and they just had opened at 11 o'clock. So I walked in, about to get my normal order, which was oxtails meat only, and then a large oxtails with rice and peas, cabbage, and cornbread. I'm ready to eat. So when I walked up, I think there was somebody in front of me ordering, and I was looking at the menu. I don't know why I was looking at the menu, because I got the same thing every time I went in there, and I was not planning on getting anything different.
You know you'll do that often too.
Yeah, you be just like staring like,
Yeah.
I'ma just get what I normally
regular.
get. Yeah. So I order my food. I say my whole order. And this man gonna say, we ran out of oxtails.
The funny part is, I wrote down the order too.
You did! Bro, yes. He's like, we're out of oxtails. I was like, what? Like, because in my head, I'm like, y'all just opened. Like, so I'm thinking, because you know he has an accent, I'm like, maybe he was trying to say, like, they don't have any more oxtails right now. But regardless, I got my stuff and I was about to walk out because that's all I came there for. And what did you say?
I was just playing. We got some more. I said something around that line, but I'm gonna let her tell her story first, and I'm gonna tell her how I wanted to, how it was for me.
Oh, how it was for you. Okay. So I don't play about my food. So when he was like, he was just playing. I don't remember him saying it like that, but maybe it was because I was a little annoyed. I was like, okay. Like, wait, go back. Every time I went to this restaurant, right, it was the same two people that would take the order in the front. The husband or the wife, right? Customer service. But the food, but I was like, okay, so I go in and I see this different person for one. That was just like, okay, I've never seen this person before. But it was kind of like, I came at a different time than I usually do, because usually I'll go after work or something like that. So I'm like, okay. So then when he was playing, I'm like, bro, where them other people at? Because, like...
Oh, I was playing too much?
Yo, for real. I'm like, where was they at? Because they just got straight to the point. It was like, hey, what's your order? Okay. Boom, got your food, and you was done. Like, it was no back and forth. So I'm like,
no, how we doing? This.
No, it was just business, which, cool, right? So I'm like, okay. Then he's like, they had oxtails. So I'm like, stop playing. Like, I don't even remember what my response to that really actually was, but in my head I was like, oh, okay. So the wife came out and she started getting my food together. And we was standing there and he was like, take your glasses off. And so I took my glasses off and he was like, yep, still cute. And I was like, oh, he's flirting. So then when I realized he was flirting and I got out of my hangry mode, I was like, okay. So then he was like, thank you for saving me in the war. I don't think you said which war.
I did.
You said World War II?
No, I said in
Vietnam. I had my uniform
exactly.
on. Okay, I didn't
that.
explain that part. I was going to work after my appointment, so I had my uniform on. So he was like, thank you for saving me in Vietnam. And I was just like...
Straight face. I wasn't
what?
joking. I was smiling at her.
I was like, how did I save you? So then he proceeds to tell me this story that he got from some war movie about some, what did he say? He was like, I was a soldier and I got injured and you were a nurse and I came in to get help and something about a bomb was about to hit and I hugged him and we died together. So in my head, I'm like, if we died, how did I save you? But I just kind of laughed. Like, for one, I was still trying to understand what he was saying because his accent. I was still trying to understand what he was saying because his accent. But I'm like, okay.
She went with it.
Yeah, I did go with it. And I don't remember what really happened after that. I just got my food and I left. But I left feeling really good and I had like this huge smile on my face, right? So being that I was on the phone with my mom when I got back in the car, I FaceTimed her again and she like, what you smiling for? And I'm like, I just had this really nice encounter with this guy. And she was like, did you get his number? I was like, no. She was like, did you get his name? I was like, no. I didn't plan on talking to him really ever again. So she was like, Sienna, go back inside and get his number. And I'm like, I'm not doing that.
Shout out to mom.
I'm like, I'm not doing that. We went back and forth on the phone for a few minutes. And I'm like, fine. Because she was not going to get off the phone until I told her I was going to go inside. Then she's like, keep me on the phone. I want to hear how you met. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. I will call you back when I come, like, from getting his number. So I walked back inside the store. And he had went to the back. Which, let's just say, God has perfect timing. Because Tavon worked in the back of the restaurant and was never usually in the front of the restaurant taking orders. So his aunt, who I thought was his mom at the time, was in the front. So I walked in and I'm like, hey, I just came to get your son's number. And she just started smiling. And so she goes in the back and you know, in restaurants how they have that door, that swinging door that has the little window inside. And I can hear her saying what she was saying. She was like happy. And then I didn't know what she was saying, but she was happy. And then all I see is Tavon walk back outside. But I see him in the little window and he's like,
You saw that?
yes, he takes a deep breath and he walks out the door. So I'm like, oh, so he's just as nervous as I am. Like, you know, I did.
I didn't know that.
You didn't? Everybody else knew that I knew. I mean, that I saw that. But, yeah, so he walks back outside and I'm like, what's your name? And he was like, Tavon. And I was like, Devon? And he was like, Tavon. And I was like, spell it. And I was like, spell it. So, like, in this, I'm handing him my phone as we're talking. So he starts typing his name. And he was like, Tivon, and he puts his number. And I see him thinking.
Oh, go ahead.
I see him thinking, like, I just see him thinking. And you know how when people save their number in your phone, they try to do some extra stuff, like put an emoji or something? I was like, don't put no emojis. I will save your number how I want it to be saved. And he was just like, okay. he just handed me the phone back, and I texted him, Sienna. I think in that time, though, you had asked me what my name was, and I had told you, but I texted him so he knew how to spell it. And then I left.
Alright, it was, I would like to say, probably Friday morning. What day was your appointment, you know?
It was on a Wednesday,
Alright, say Wednesday morning.
I think.
It was like 10 o'clock. So, first the day started off, I was in the back at the restaurant. I think I was either cooking some rice or just finishing bagging up the rice. So the back, it got empty, like almost some of it was finished for the morning, and my aunt, she was either making cornbread or something like that. So she opened the door. She opened the door to let people in, cause it was I think it was starting. It was going to 11 o'clock. It was like 10:50 something, so it was going to 11 o'clock. So she was in the back making cornbread, so I walk in the front so I could be the cashier and I could take out food or whatever, you know, because it's like the food right in front next to right next to the register. So I was out there for like probably 15 minutes. I had like two people walk in before her, and then well yeah, I took those orders, and then after I see this military girl walk inside the store, and in my mind I thinking she kind of cute, you know. She had and she glasses, and then when she walk inside she take out she had, and then I see she here and I like her hair too. I was like, yeah, I gonna talk to she. So she walked to the counter. She was like, you know, she just thought, hi, how are you doing today? I would like some oxtail, brown rice, and cabbage and cornbread, and an extra oxtail, please. That's what she was talking about. So I was just watching. She like, okay, I go on real message you right now, you know. I was like, alright, here, oxtail, da da da. I was like, we all oxtail, sorry. We just opened 15 minutes now, and I just before I walk in front of, I bring out a pan oxtail, so I know we had oxtail there, so I was like, nah, we not no more oxtail right now. And she like, she was like what? Like she got shook, like she got scared.
What was my face like?
She like, what? And then she just watched me for like 2 seconds, I would say, and she was like, nah, you joking. Is that you for real? I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry. She was like, man, I was really feeling for some oxtails today. And she proceeded to grab her keys and her hat, because she put her hat on the table. And then when she was looking to walk, like as soon as she was about to turn, I was like, you know what, we have some more oxtail, and I was just joking. And she told me, she was like, you need to stop playing. Like, you need to stop playing. I was like, what's it, buddy? I said, yeah, we have some more still there. I was just joking too. And then I was like, yeah, okay, I'll get that order ready for you. And then my aunt by that time she walked back in front, and I tell her the order. And then so she was just standing up, and I was like, while she was standing there, it was getting kind of that kind of awkwardness, you know. So in my mind, I'm thinking, why am I going to tell you?
It was only awkward for you because you were flirting.
It was awkward for me because, well, as a guy, I had a, you know. So,
I wasn't in flirt mode at that time.
So I said, why going in my mind? I like, why go and tell this girl? So I remember watching this show, and the girl happened to be in military and in the show too. So I came up with a story. I was like, you know what? Thank you for saving me back in Vietnam. And I was telling her like straight to her face, like, no, I wasn't even smiling or nothing. And she was watching me like that face, like she don't know what I'm talking about, but she very interested in hearing what I had to say. She was like, so I was saying, thank you for saving me back in Vietnam. Yeah, I came into the nursing center where all the injured soldiers was, and I was in a stretcher. My leg had got blown off by like I either got shot off
yes,
or
you did go through this whole story.
yeah, I was really doing it. I was really thinking about everything I could have at that point. I was like, yeah, my leg got shut off, and it's either got shut off or I stepped on a detonator or something. And I lost my leg, and they was bringing me in on a stretcher. And when I came inside the nursing center, you was a nurse, and you was telling me, you know what, everything gonna be alright. I'm gonna take care of you. And then I told you another bomb is coming, you know. And he was like, then she told me again, like, don't worry, things gonna be alright. And And then she like bent over in the stretcher and you hugged me. And you hugged me. And then the bomb came and we died.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she was really like and she laughed. She gave me that laugh now.
But I was still trying to process what you were saying at the same time as listening.
Yeah, so I tell her that story and she giggled, she smiled. So I was like, alright, good. I inside. So then I started flirting with she now. I was like, I was saying, see, did I tell you it was cute? No?
No, you told me to take my glasses off.
But yeah, I told her to take her glasses off. She take it off. I was like, alright, she following my lead now. She said she don't know what she do because you know some girls would be like, what the hell you want me to take off my glasses for? But she did. She wasn't even like that. She took it off and she was looking all cute. I was like, alright, it's actually that to see what she would do. And she take it off. I tell she, you look real, you still look cute. And then
I think I said I would hope that I looked cute without my glasses because if I didn't, that would mean I was ugly. Like for real. You know, when you put your glasses on, that's when you're unattractive. So that's a Sienna response. I'm sure I said that because I know I thought that. But anyway.
yeah, so then after that, I think I asked her why did they put the keys and the wallet and the phone inside the hat. Because I just walk in there, I used to see a lot of military people do that. Like as soon as they come outside the store, come inside a store, they will take out the hat, keys.
Let me show y'all what he's talking about.
Put the keys, the wallet, the phone. And like, why would they just do that? I was curious.
So we have our hat, right?
Yeah.
And we'll put our wallet and our keys, and my phone is recording. But then we'll sit it down.
Yeah. So she had it on the table. So I watched it on the table. Like, why you always do that? So she was like, well, it's just convenient, you know.
Yeah.
And then by that time, she ended up finishing the food. So she gave her the phone. And I was like, damn, I didn't even ask her for no. But in my mind, I was like, you know what, Tavon? I ain't going to see her again. That is just what I was telling myself. I just going to see her again. So they even worry about it. It's not like when she was walking, I was like, it's kind of getting up. None of that. I was just waiting, you know. I was like, you know what? I would say she.
I would have been kind of like, I probably would have been turned off. I think the fact that we didn't exchange numbers is kind of like what made me want his number. Because, you know, some guys will be like, oh, let me get your number. They just see you off rip. They don't even try and talk to you. They just try and get your number from there. So I felt like that was really attractive. So, yeah. So then.
Learn that. Somebody out there always should learn that. Don't force to get your number. You ain't gonna be successful. And if she get your number, she most likely fast. And you know what but yeah, so she was walking out the store and I was looking at she butt and and she was looking good. I really like her shape, everything. So I was like, okay, then I walk in the back and I was telling my aunt, she was like, yeah, you like her, don't you? I was like, yeah, she cute. And she was like, yeah, ask her for a number. I was like, no, but yeah, my aunt, she was like, why you didn't ask her for a number? And I was like, I just didn't, you know? And then I walked back in the back and I started to cut up chicken because I think my chicken had reached by that time. So I look in the shop with my knife, shink, sharpening my knife. And probably 5 minutes, my aunt, she walked in the back and she was telling me how there's a young lady out here who asking for your number. My heart immediately dropped. It's for real.
So she ain't say it was me, even though she knew it was me?
No. That is the first thing she said. She said a young lady is out there and she wants your number. And I say, who? She was like, the girl you was just talking to with in the military girl you was just talking to. I said, what? My heart done start to beat fast. I could feel my heart, you know? So I walk into the side, then I walk to looking to open the side door with the glass she was talking about. So then I stand up behind the door like, alright, just preparing myself, you know, like talking to myself like, alright, where you going to sit, you know? So even though I know she was asking for my number, it's like, I don't know, I just feeling pressure somehow. So I take a deep breath.
Because you wasn't expecting it.
I wasn't expecting it to be so fast. I wasn't expecting it to be like that. But I take a deep breath and then I walk out in front, and then she was standing there and she was straight. She was like, I came back to get your number or something around that line. And I was like, okay. I started. She had her phone out already. She was like, I came back to get you know.
Because I was getting it.
And she had my phone. I take the phone. I pay. Sorry, babe. I'm paying 85. I pay my number. Then.
Yo, he was about to say his number. It don't matter because it's not your number no more.
Sure. Then put in my name. I was going to add kissy face emoji and probably a heart or some shit somewhere.
I just felt it.
Yeah.
Like the stagnant weight that he did. I just knew he was about to put an emoji.
I really was. But I know she was going to because, you know, I just knew she was going to. So I was just going to just ease her from that and do it myself.
Oh, you was gonna make it easy for me.
Yeah, but what really was weird too was she was like, you don't have to do that, it's okay. I was like, alright. Here's your phone, mom. And then she was like, okay, well I'll text you.
No, I text you right then.
You did? Oh yeah, she did text me right then. And then we just said our byes. And then she was walking away. And I proceeded to look at her body again. So I walk back in the back of the restaurant. And Amanda was like, you know she was talking all that. Why then ask for she number? Why you ask for she number? I walk back in the back like, she was like, you can, she get a number. I was like, yeah, she got a number. I was real proud. Like, yeah. I done that whole day. Everybody who I related to, they walked in the store. A girl come back in the store and ask for the phone number. But yeah.
So ladies, don't be afraid to shoot your shot. Which if my mom didn't tell me to go back in the store, who knows? Like, who knows where we would be? So we text back and forth. Is it text or texted? Texted.
Yeah.
Texted back and forth for like 3 days. Savon says I was dry texting him.
She's a dry text.
I am naturally. But it wasn't that I was dry texting him because I wasn't interested. More so the fact that the place I was in life, I was not looking for a temporary situation. The first time we FaceTimed, which was after like 2 or 3 days of texting.
Probably. I ain't sure.
It was getting late. Not late for him, but late for me. And I was falling asleep on the phone. And so one thing I had prayed for in the beginning of 2019 was my husband. And I was very specific in my prayer. That's one thing you guys have to learn to do is be specific in your prayers. When you're asking God for something, ask for exactly what you want. And so when I said I wanted my husband, I told God I wanted him to be a God-fearing man. So this night we were on FaceTime and I was falling asleep and he's like, you can't go to sleep without praying. I was like, what? Like, did he just say what I think he just said? And this is like after 2 days of texting somebody. And I was like, okay, so then are you gonna get off the phone so I can pray? Asiana answered, of course. And he's like, no, we're gonna pray together. So we sat on the phone and we prayed. And honestly, I was nervous because I'm like, does he expect me to pray out loud? Like, you know, but we just did we did a silent prayer because at that point I was timid in praying. I'll just say that. As far as to pray out loud and other people hear what I'm believing God for or asking him for, I just wasn't used to that. So we just did a silent prayer and he was like, are you done praying? And I was like, yes. And you know, the crazy thing was, my prayer that night was literally just, God, show me who this man is. That's all I said in the prayer. But we were quiet for like 2 minutes or so. And yeah, that's all I said in my prayer. And he was like, are you done praying? And I was like, yes. And he was like, okay, good night. And you know, ladies, listen. That good night, now I'm like, I don't even want to go to bed now. Like, I don't even want to go to sleep. But we got off the phone. And the next day, I remember telling my mom about it because I was just in awe. I was like, what? Like, what? And I think maybe the next day or a few days later, you asked me on a date.
Yeah. But that's for our next video, the first day.
Thank you for watching.
Thanks for watching.
Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.
Subscribe. Y'all want to see some funny videos. Subscribe.
And make sure you hit that notification bell to be notified when we